Hi, I'm Amy Vance at the University of Missouri Extension in Clay County. And today we are going to make a very fun recipe. We are going to make fruit spring rolls. So before we get started with any of our cooking today, we need to wash our hands. So when we wash our hands, we want to wash the insides, we want to wash the outsides, we want to wash in between our fingers, and we want to wash our nails. And we want to make sure that we wash our hands for 20 seconds. We also want to pull back our hair if it's really long. Since I will be eating these today, I'm going to leave my hair down. But if I did pull back my hair, I would want to make sure that I wash my hands afterwards. Next, we want to gather supplies so that we have everything in place to create our spring rolls. So for supplies that I needed, I got a cutting board. I have a sharp knife, but you can also use a butter knife or a plastic knife. I have warm water. I have a pie dish or a shallow dish. I also have a plate to roll my spring roll. And then I have a variety of fruit, and then some peanut butter and some yogurt to make a dipping sauce. Oh, and then I went out to my garden and I picked some fresh mint. So today's recipe focuses mainly on our fruits. So we're going to cut up some fruit. So I washed my banana as I did with my strawberries. And for our spring roll, if you're not familiar with spring rolls, they're traditionally have meat and vegetables in them. And usually you find them in Vietnamese restaurants. So I'm just going to slice up my bananas, clawing my hand, a rocking motion. And I'm going to scrape all of those off onto the corner. Then I'm going to cut up my strawberries. And you are welcome to cut your fruit any way that you want. There's no right or wrong way to cut your fruit. So you can dice it up really small. You can create little matchsticks. It's kind of whatever you want to eat or whatever you want to look at in your spring roll. So I'm going to cut a few of these, making sure I don't chop off my fingers. And I did pull in a few, well, maybe I'll cut one more strawberry. I really like strawberries, and I really like strawberry banana. I also placed my cutting board on a towel because the surface underneath can be a bit slippery. So just to protect my fingers and to make sure that my cutting board doesn't move any, I secured it safely. So next up, I'm going to open up my spring rolls. And spring rolls are usually found in the Asian section of the grocery store. So you're going to find them where your soy sauce is and items like that. And these ones are a little bit smaller than what I would traditionally find in my grocery store. They had the white rice ones, and then they also had brown rice. I chose to go with the white rice, but if I wanted to make half of this a whole grain, I would have chose my brown rice. So this is just a small little 6-inch rice paper. And they kind of look like really thin little crackers. And they're really fun. They do get really sticky, so be very careful when you use them. So I'm just going to rearrange my workspace really quick, sliding that knife out of the way. I'm going to pull my shallow dish up close. Then I'm going to fill it up with some warm water. And then because my rice paper is kind of cracker-like, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to slip it in to that warm water until it becomes pliable. So it's really kind of fun to watch and play with these. This is why it's really important to make sure that you have clean hands because you're going to make this a little bit more pliable. So it goes from a really stiff cracker-like consistency to a very gelatinous, and this takes a few seconds, so don't worry. Some other fun facts about spring rolls is they're low carb and they're gluten-free because they're made strictly from rice. So me mixing my rice wrapper with my fruit and then later on adding in some protein, I've hit up about 3 of the 5 my plate So then the rest of the day, I just want to make sure that I'm getting in some vegetables or dairy. And you know what? Actually, I'm going to get some dairy in when I make a dip in a few minutes. Okay, it looks like my rice paper is done. So you can see the consistency when I pull it out. It almost looks like contact paper. So I'm going to put this down on my plate, and you do want to work a little fast. Make sure that you're using a porous plate or a glass plate. Do not put these on paper plates. If you put it on a paper plate, it will stick to the paper plate, and then you will pull up the paper and it will not taste very good. I know from experience. So I'm just going to funly design on my little spring rolls. So I'm going to add my strawberries, and I'm going to add my bananas. And then, like I said, I picked up some fresh mint. So I'm just going to lay down a couple mint leaves, and then maybe another strawberry, because I really like strawberries and they have a short growing season. So once I get those in, I'm going to wrap these kind of like you would a burrito. So we're going to wrap the short ends in first, so making sure you have enough room to wrap them in. And I'm going to take the end closest to me, and I'm going to wrap it all the way around over. So just like a little see-through burrito, and then I'm going to roll it up. And we should have a lovely little spring roll. And don't worry, the more you get used to it, the easier it is to roll them up. Next up, I'm going to make a delicious little dipping sauce for my spring roll. So I have two ingredients. I have peanut butter and yogurt. So I'm just going to open my yogurt, and I'm going to scoop a tablespoon or two of peanut butter into my little cup. And I'm just eyeballing it, but you can measure that out. And I'm eyeballing it because I'm using a pretty-little portioned yogurt. And I got a yogurt with fruit on the bottom, but I would highly recommend just using a plain yogurt. And if you need to add sweetener, just adding a small dash of honey or even apple juice, orange juice. So we're just going to mix these together. Make a delicious little sauce, not soup. I don't know what I'm talking about today. So try not to be as messy as me, but if you are, that's okay, because that's part of the fun of cooking. So I made a delicious yogurt peanut butter dipping sauce to go with my spring roll. And we have a serving of fruit. We have some protein from our Greek yogurt and from our peanut butter. And I would love to see your spring rolls. So if you make a spring roll, don't forget to use our hashtag MU extension Clay County if you want to tag my personal county or any of the extension hashtags. So I hope you have a wonderful day and you enjoy your spring rolls.